I'm Julie David, and welcome to day 8 of Reboot Your Business. Today is a very exciting day because we are going to be planning out our relaunch show. Now, if you're a new jeweler, then you're planning your launch show. But if you're trying to reboot your business and get it started again, this show is so vital because you're starting over. And we need to analyze what we've been doing all along in our business and ask ourselves some critical questions. Is it working? If you are getting plenty of shows, well, then you want to keep doing what you've been doing, right? But if you haven't, it might be time to check out some other options. So today we're going to just go over some of the things that you need to be looking at and deciding about. Now, we had talked about how this relaunch show is going to have an open house component. This is really important so we have sort of a broad period of time when people can come and see you and see the jewelry, and it's a little more flexibility on their part and they can have a better opportunity to actually show up. But we also want to have a show time where you're going to do a presentation, and we want to do all the parts of our show. Now, with the changes in Premiere, we don't have to do that anymore, do we? We could just have that open house component and you're totally fine. But listen, that's not the way to grow your business. We need to build relationships. And one of the things that's going to really help is to show your stuff, to teach them some fun things, to interact with them, to have a fun little game that's a booking activity, to share with them why you're doing what you're doing, to educate them. Teaching is one of the keys to this business that will really help you to have a crazy successful time in Premier Designs. So let's just go through some of the things that we need to do. First of all, we need to decide when we do our presentation, how are we actually going to do it? Are we just going to kind of talk, keep it all up in our head, and we're pretty good at knowing what comes next and we can just kind of go with it and move through it, sort of see a slideshow in our head? I'm going to tell you that's how I do it, right? But I've been doing it for 10 years. So I know what I want to talk about, but I have ADD. So do I ever forget something? Of course I do. So that's why it's so helpful to have something you're holding on to, something you're reading, something that guides you to the next thing. It takes the pressure off and makes you feel so much more calm. Having something there as notes is really helpful. So you could do a typical flip chart. Now, here is a cute little tiny notebook. I got these at Staples. And I'm sure they sell them everywhere, but super fun. And then of course I have what I'm going to talk about inside the flip chart. Now I have little plastic covers. You can get these, I got these at Target, right? Just little sheet protectors. And you might want a basic notebook, or you might want something so cute and sassy, okay? Like a fun little notebook, all Staples, Target, you can get these anywhere. But you want to plan out what you're going to do. Now, I do have these available on my website, joyousjewelers.com, and the password is joy, and you can see these flip charts. I have various ones over the years, but basically you're either going to say compliments about your hostess when they see this letter, or they're going to find something in their purse. I love the finding something in your purse, and because it gets them laughing. And I like to say you get the first 3 people to find something in your purse that starts with this letter gets a Diva dollar, but if it's embarrassing, you get 2. Okay, so that's kind of fun. And this will just walk you through, and I actually have directions in the back of the flip chart, which are my notes that just walk you through what you should say with each letter. So H is for hostess, to introduce her. P is for Premier, and there's notes on the back that you can actually read, just some quick facts about Premier. G for the golden guarantee, and you want to keep that short and sweet, and I explain that in the notes. L is for love it. Now, one of the things that you need to decide when you're planning out this presentation is what sponsoring activity you're going to do. So when you get to L, that's for love it. You have some options. I mean, my goodness, you could just read this and share. You could share your story. Here's my story. I, of course, look radically different than I did when I started in Premiere, so I tell a little bit about my story. I've got some neat little things here that are easy to read, but I love to share from my Love It bag. So inside my Love It bag are different items that I pull out to tell my story. There's 5 items. Something that has to do with money, because we make 50%. Something that is funny, so I talk about the support that I get from my upline and sidelines and Premiere. Then 3 other things that talk about why you love Premiere. Making your own schedule. For us, one of the first things we did was we got a second car. Also something like, oh, this could be a funny as well, but you're no longer handcuffed to your corporate job or to your debt. Maybe something about paying off debt or a picture of friends, but you want to tell your story. So you could do the Love It bag. You could do big money, little money. You could do, I'm just going to have 5 Diva dollars, and everybody asks me a question and I'll give you a Diva dollar when you ask me a question. Anything works, but you want to do something and you want to decide. That's what today's all about. So you might want to go out and watch some videos. I, of course, have a lot of other videos. You can Google Julie David, Love It bag. You can look on joyousjewelers.com and watch some different videos. But you need to decide, what do you want to do for your sponsoring activity? Okay, so that is L in the little flip chart. And then F, fashion tips. We want to educate, right? So I actually have fashion tips written out here that you can just read and sound so smart. Women love to learn. And then we want to talk about, oh, do you have trouble getting dressed in the morning? Did you know that a woman spends a year of her life deciding what to wear? We want to make that easier for you. So D is for drab to fab, right? And I actually wrote out some ideas for you with the jewelry. So you want to be thinking about what jewelry that you actually want to share. And I, of course, have some videos on that too. So we have 2 drab to fab videos out right now that shows pulling jewelry into 5-piece ensembles and sharing that. So you might want to share something that's silver, something that's gold, something that's rose gold, something that's colorful, something from your everyday collection, something that's colorful. But we definitely want to be sharing the versatility and all the things that our jewelry can do, but we don't want to overwhelm them. And we want to have it planned out so that we feel comfortable and prepared. Okay, so then we have S, that's for our style partner, and we want to make sure that we are very clear on what our style partners or our hostesses get for free. I love to do Diva Did Diva Didn't. You should Google that. It's a great activity, great visual for people to see why they would want to schedule a show. A lot of times when we're doing a presentation, we want to skip that. We want to go really quickly. I've done it myself, so I know, but we want to move quickly and we skip that part. But girls, it's so vitally important that we spell out why women would want to gather some friends together and learn these fun fashion tips, because they are going to get so much for free. So doing a fun little skit just takes about 4 or 5 minutes. Diva Did, Diva Didn't. See all of the jewelry. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Julie David, Diva Did, Diva Didn't, or go to my website. Now, when you do that, you need to follow it up by a booking activity, and that's also on the agenda today to pick out. So today is a lot of research and a lot of decisions, isn't it? But, again, there's so many great booking activities, whether it might be, say, the dice game, right? Where you're going to roll some dice. Aren't these cute? Roll some dice, get an envelope, and there's a prize inside that you have a chance of winning. And again, you can Google the dice game. Maybe it's a really fun blingy prize. Don't you love these bags? I actually get these on wish.com, or you can get them on eBay. I pay about $3 for each one of these bags. You can put other prizes inside. I also, of course, love my 20 40/60 or 20/20/20, whatever you want to call it, where I take $20 bills, and if you have a show whenever, you're going to get $20. If you have it next month, you're going to get $40 extra in free jewelry from me. But if you have it in June, then you're going to get $60. And you really sell that. And of course, you want to Google that. You want to find one of these activities that you feel super comfortable with. You might create your own, but if you do, test it out and ask someone who's been in Premiere a long time if they think that's a good idea. We probably will. We're always looking for new, fun ideas. But you need to do a booking activity, and girls, you need to practice it. There's nothing worse than somebody being up there fumbling, being nervous, being uncomfortable, not really remembering what they should say. It makes us all uncomfortable. This is easy, really, it is. Just run through it a couple times. And when you're picking a booking activity, pick one that you think, oh, I would totally schedule a show for that prize. That's the one for you, whatever it might be. Now, you're gonna keep going in this little flip chart and have a special. So you need to decide on your special. Since this is your relaunch show, it's your personal home show, you may want to have just a blanket discount, 20% off everything. If they schedule a show, maybe they get an extra percentage off. You've got to decide that, what you're willing to do. But remember, this event is about drawing people in. It's not really about making money. It's about building your business and scheduling your shows. So you can kind of look at whatever discount you give people as your investment into marketing, right? Instead of paying for a commercial, you're giving people a discount to draw them in so you can schedule shows with them. Now, after we decide the flow of the show, oh, and by the way, this is only one option. Another option that I love would be the question show. So it might be 5 questions, it might be 7 questions. I love that. And so you have these little cards and you put these little questions down. I actually have smaller versions of this that the customers, the guests hold, and they actually read their question. And then you have on the back the answers of these bigger ones. So here's the little question that they'll ask you. So number 5 is, what if we want more than we want to buy today? Is there a way to get it at half off or maybe free? And then you say, sure, and then you do Diva Did, Diva Didn't. See how I have that on there? And then you do your booking activity. So 7-question show, also on my website, but there's a lot of other jewelers that do the 5-question show, the 6-question show. I think right now I have 8 questions. It just kind of depends on what you want to go over. You could make it yourself, but this is easy because you have notes and you have participation from the group because they're reading the questions, and you have a lot of fun. So it's just whatever you want to choose for the flow of your show, and your upline may have something else that they love. You want to just make a decision, and then after you make a decision and you have what you're going to, the flow of your show, the booking activity, the sponsoring activity, and even the jewelry, like are we going to do 5 concept or 5, I like to do 5 concept trays, okay, so that it limits me. How are you going to show your jewelry? How are you going to pick your jewelry? After you decide all that, it's critical that you practice. And I know that sounds very antiquated, and maybe you think, I don't have time for that. I want you to know that successful people plan and successful people practice. And if you just buzz through your presentation a few times, even while you're driving, sections of it, but just say it out loud, when you will lose that nervousness, because preparation really eliminates anxiety. When I did my very first show 10 years ago, I did it myself, my kickoff show. I practiced it from start to finish 7 times. Now that may seem a little extreme, but I rocked that show. And I was not nervous because I was prepared and I knew what was coming next. When we don't feel prepared, our anxiety level goes up. So just take a little bit of time, decide, do I want to just go out of my head? Do I want to do a flip chart? Do I want to do a question show? Is there something else out there that I'm comfortable with, something I've done or something my upline has told me about? Okay, now what booking activity? What sponsoring activity? How am I going to show the jewelry and when? What prizes am I offering? What discount am I offering? And you just kind of answer those questions, then you run through it. You just say it out loud a couple times, because that's going to help you understand how to transition. I think one of the things people struggle with the most are transitions. Well, I know I need to do a booking activity, and I know I need to do a sponsoring activity, but how do I get from Diva Did, Diva Didn't to the booking activity? And once I'm done with the booking activity, how do I transition to wrapping up and ending the show and doing the prizes? Well, girls, if you just run through it once, you're gonna put yourself in that position, and it's gonna cause you to stop and think, oh yes, okay, now I need to say that. And watch other people's shows. If you run through it first, and then you watch someone, maybe your upline, do a show, it will make so much more sense. You go, oh, that was a great transition. But you'll only be able to do that as if you ran through it once yourself, okay? So today, this is a big day, a lot of decisions. For some of you, this might be easy. You're like, I know it works. I like my booking activity. I like my sponsoring activity. I like the flip chart that I do. I already know the jewelry I'm gonna decide. So maybe this will only take you a few minutes. Great, go and run through it and practice it. You know what else I would encourage you to do? Tape it. Tape it. Or you could create a Facebook group that's fake. Put your mom and your grandma from Premiere in the group and go live and let them watch you. Because you need feedback, and you need someone to tell you how to tweak it and make it a little bit better. And believe me, we love to help. So ask us to watch it if we're your upline, because we love to help. But recording it or going live for us to watch it later, maybe when we have time, that's perfect. Okay, so big day today. Make a plan and practice it.